Israel's proposed Gaza humanitarian hubs, a Trojan horse for continued occupation. The Israeli Defense Forces, IDF, have unveiled a plan for Gaza's governance that, according to humanitarian officials, grants Israel even tighter control than before the recent war, raising serious questions about Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's commitment to a genuine military withdrawal. This proposal, presented to the UN and aid organizations, appears to be a revamped version of the failed humanitarian bubbles initiative attempted over a year ago. This plan, far from representing a pathway to Palestinian autonomy, appears to be a thinly veiled continuation of Israeli occupation under the guise of humanitarian aid. The blueprint outlines a system of small, tightly controlled humanitarian hubs for distributing aid, a strategy eerily reminiscent of the previous failed experiment. These hubs would purportedly expand over time, yet the lack of any clear timeline or commitment to full withdrawal casts significant doubt on the sincerity of this proposal. The plan's inherent limitations and restrictions are designed to maintain Israeli dominance rather than facilitating genuine Palestinian self-governance. Crucially, the plan designates the Kerem Shalom crossing, under Israeli control, as the sole entry point for aid. The Rafah crossing, connecting Gaza to Egypt, would be permanently closed, effectively isolating Gaza and reinforcing Israeli control over all aspects of life within the territory. This complete blockade suffocates Gaza's economy and prevents its integration with the wider region, hindering its long-term recovery and development. This restrictive strategy envisions a Gaza where basic necessities are distributed to pre-approved Palestinians at limited points, all under constant Israeli surveillance and control. This meticulous control over aid distribution is not merely a logistical matter. It's a tool to maintain a dependent population susceptible to Israeli dictates. It's a system designed to perpetuate a cycle of reliance and prevent the establishment of genuine Palestinian self-determination. The proposal makes no mention of the Trump administration's now-defunct plan to have the U.S. take ownership of the Gaza Strip and relocate its Palestinian inhabitants, a proposal that was widely condemned as a violation of international law and human rights. The absence of any reference to this plan, however, doesn't lessen the concerns about the IDF's current proposal, which essentially achieves the same objective through different means. The omission itself is deeply troubling, signaling a deliberate avoidance of addressing the core issues of Palestinian sovereignty and self-determination. The IDF's silence in response to requests for comment further fuels skepticism surrounding the plan's true intentions. This lack of transparency underscores the deep-seated distrust between the Israeli government and the international community. The IDF's proposal comes as Arab nations are developing their own comprehensive plan for Gaza's reconstruction. A recent meeting in Riyadh, bringing together representatives from Egypt, Jordan, and Gulf states, endorsed a substantial $53 billion Egyptian-designed reconstruction plan spanning 3 to 5 years. This plan prioritizes establishing safe zones with temporary housing, enabling displaced Gazans to rebuild their lives while long-term infrastructure projects proceed. This collaborative effort, in stark contrast to the IDF's proposal, prioritizes the needs of the Palestinian people and emphasizes regional collaboration for lasting solutions. The IDF's past attempts at implementing humanitarian bubbles serve as a cautionary tale. Trials conducted in January 2024 in northern Gaza, involving selected community elders administering aid distribution, ultimately failed due to resistance from the local population and active opposition from Hamas. Local volunteers were hesitant to cooperate with Israeli authorities, and some who did participate faced lethal consequences at the hands of Hamas. This underscores the deep-seated mistrust and complex political realities on the ground, which the IDF's current plan appears to disregard. The initiative's failure highlights the fundamental flaw in attempting to impose solutions from above without genuine Palestinian participation and consensus. The stark contrast between the IDF's proposed humanitarian hubs and the collaborative Arab reconstruction plan exposes a fundamental divergence in vision. One seeks to perpetuate Israeli control under the guise of humanitarian aid, while the other strives for genuine reconstruction and Palestinian self-determination. The international community must critically evaluate the IDF's proposal, recognizing its potential to serve as a tool for continued occupation rather than a pathway to peace and sustainable development in Gaza. The true test of Israel's intentions lies not in the words used to describe its plans, but in its willingness to genuinely withdraw and allow the Palestinian people to exercise their right to self-determination. The world must demand transparency, accountability, and a genuine commitment to a lasting solution that prioritizes the needs and rights of the Palestinian people.